All right, this is all about products and how to create a new product. So it's going to be up under product management. Select products. From here, you can search for whatever product you're looking for. You can search by brand, product, which is the vendor's product number. You can search by description or part of a description by using the star method. You can scan it directly in if you have the barcode available. You also have these advanced options where you can do multiple filters at one time. So if you wanted to search for, let's see, everything that comes from a certain vendor, which vendor is OF2. The title will change soon. Actually, it's right here, vendors reporting. And this one is going to disappear, so ignore that. It's actually under this one. And it will be corrected shortly. Let's say you want to search everything that comes from A to Z, and you only want to see tobacco products. So you're going to hit add as your second filter. You're going to go to department, which, by the way, you can just type in a letter and it'll take you to the correct area and you can choose from there. So you can just type in the D and it'll bring you straight to department. And you want to search for everything that's in tobacco. So if I typed in T, that brings everything that has the letter T in it. So if you keep typing, it'll just bring up everything that has these three letters. So there's tobacco. Hit OK. If you had a third filter, you would probably want to have this on or. So you have and or. Since I'm only using two and I just want to see items that are only these two criteria, I'm just going to leave it at and. But if you had, like, you wanted to see tobacco and or lighters, you would put everything from A to Z that is tobacco or lighters. So that's how this works, the and or. So go ahead and hit search. And here is all of your tobacco products that come from A to Z. So that's how you would search for an item. To create an item, go back into product management, go to products, hit new. And from here, this is everything you're going to have to fill out to actually create the item. So brand, every product or every item needs a brand. It will not let you save it without one. So I'm just going to save this under default. And like I said, you can just start typing and it'll bring things up. Or if it's easier, just hit the drop down and search. Everything's in alphabetical order. So, or you can create a new brand right here, which is pretty easy. You just type the brand, hit save, there it is. Product, like I said before, this is for the vendor's use. Not really that useful to us unless it's something like, I don't know, jewelry maybe, or t-shirts where we actually go off of the vendor's item to find certain things. But you have to have a product in here. So if it's a vendor that does not use product numbers, we would just put our description one into this field. So let's just say it's a test item, test item. Let's use this one. Test item 123. I'm just going to copy this and paste it right here. We only do this because every item has to have this field in there. Once that's in there, you don't really need alt products. Description 2, we don't really need unless there's something specific that you want to put in there to help you remember something about the item. But it's not something that we would actually search for or have on any type of reports or anything. So it's kind of irrelevant for us. UPC, if you happen to know the UPC, you can put it in there. If not, this system generates a UPC automatically. And in this system, there are no ALUs or item numbers, everything goes off of a UPC. So when this system generates it, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, that is the actual item number. You can enter alternate barcodes if you happen to know secondary barcodes, like, the UPC would be your individual products, and the alternate barcode would be like the box that it comes in or something. Set min max levels, we will not need to use this button because there's a system running in the background that automatically generates this every night. So don't worry about setting that for any new products. Right here, you can type in your cost, your price, and instead of me clicking on all of these, you can just start on the first one and hit tab, and it'll take you to the next box. To me, that's a lot easier, instead of having to double click every single box on here. MSRP, you don't really need to fill out. It's mainly for your reference. It's not actually going to be sold at that price. This is the price that you want to make sure is filled in. If you happen to want a different web price, you can do that. I don't really see why we would, but there is an option to do that. You don't really need this. This is just for your reference. It's just the minimum advertised price. So it's kind of irrelevant as far as the POS side. It'll show you your margin, your markup, exact pricing is how we would normally do it. So I would just default it to that because everything we put in here anyway is 99 cents. Right here, just leave this as default as well. This just makes sure that every store has access to this product. So if you left one of the stores out, they would not even be able to see this product as something to look at. So just leave all the stores in there. Here is your classification, which is your department. So let's just say I'm going to put this in the default department. You would highlight it, hit pick. And that's that. Now you have default as your department. This is another mandatory field. It will not let you save the product without a department in there. Here are all of your OF fields. So the only ones that we need to use is OF2, which is vendor, and it's vendor for reporting purposes. And this right here is incorrect. This is actually supposed to be over here, and that's something they're working on right now. So it should be fixed by the time we go live. So go ahead and pick your vendor, which I'm going to pick default again, and you can start typing. It'll bring the drop down by itself, and you can just choose whichever one. Age requirement. Right now, I have this set in here at 18 and 21. The only reason we needed this in here is because of the website. So if it's a product that is available for pickup and you only have to be 18 years old to come buy it and pick it up, then you would want 18 selected. If this is not selected, then in the website it will not bring up the checkbox where they have to verify their age. So if this is a tobacco product or nicotine, CBD, whatever, make sure that this is selected appropriately. Because of this item, I'm just choosing some test item. It's not age required, so I'm just going to leave that blank. All of these folders here are what you have to fill out, all these tabs. So if this matrix is like scales in Retail Pro, so the first tab here, the second tab here, let's say this test item has multiple colors. This is where you would set that, or multiple sizes. So let's just say this one comes in like blue and red or something. So you could start typing in blue and it'll come up. in your drop down, you would just select this. You also have all these other options. So these are all of the so-called attributes that were, you know, transferred over from Retail Pro. Um, Try not to add anything new in here if you don't have to. You should have a pretty good list of everything, unless it is, like a specific attribute for that product that we have never used before. So just make sure you check this list first and make sure it's not in here, because the list is already pretty long, and the more junk we keep adding into here, it's kind of difficult to get that stuff out later on. Um, so just keep that in mind. I'm going to go ahead and select blue. You can just hit enter once it's highlighted, and then hit enter again, and it brings it down into this box. So everything into this box here is the line of that product. So now I'm going to select red, hit enter again, and now it comes in blue and red. This will create two different item SKUs. The sizes work a little bit different. The sizes come in runs of sizes. So it's not like individual colors. It's more like, does this shirt come in small, medium, large, extra large? Um, and you would do that by clicking find, and here are all the size runs. And this is the only way that this system works currently. I think this is something they're working on to be able to use individual ones, kind of like we do with sizes. But if a shirt comes in small, medium, large, extra large, you don't want to use this size run of just one large, because it's only going to create the one item. What you would want to do is use something like this, or this one, small, medium, large. Well, that doesn't have extra large, so this one's probably more like it. Small, medium, large, extra large, double X. So if the shirt comes in all those sizes, this is the one you would want to use. You can hit OK, and it'll create an individual item for each one of these. In the meantime, I'm just using colors for this product, so there you go. E-commerce options is your next tab. If this is a product you do want to put on the web, select prepare for web. You don't need to select anything else. This is something that, Zach will probably fill out the majority of. Web description as well. This is what he's going to call it on the website. It can differ completely from the actual description. I would not do pre-order. That's just going to get confusing. Don't need width. Don't need really any of this stuff except for prepare for web. That way, Zach can filter for all the items that need to get, prepped for putting on the website. Advanced pricing. We don't really need this yet until we start selling wholesale, so I would ignore that. Advanced POS. Display and POS item menu. This is for an item that does not have a barcode, or there's no way of actually tagging the item. So this is kind of like the list that are on the side of all of the monitors on the POS machines. So something like screens or, bulk incense, you would want this checkboxed. If it's something that is taggable, or we just scan it, it has a barcode, then leave this unchecked. Don't really need this display and range item menu. Don't worry about that. You are probably going to want to keep track of everything on hand, every item, the on-hand quantity. If for some reason you don't, uncheck it, but it defaults to already checked. Don't worry about the PLU item. That is irrelevant for us. Discount allowed. So like tobacco products, you don't want to do any promotions or coupons, something like that. You would have to have one of these selected. It defaults to all, so I would leave it like that unless for some reason it is something you don't want to ever give discounts on. Sale quantity, don't worry about that. There's another place where we're going to fill this out. Ask quantity at register. Don't worry about. Don't worry about. No, no, no. Don't worry about any of that. This is for no returns. Currently, it defaults to nothing. So if it is like tobacco or something, go ahead and select this as a no returns item, just like we would in Retail Pro, where you have to type it in. Right now, it's a drop down. So just make sure that's selected if it is a non returnable item. That will print out on the receipts. Sales tax, don't worry about. That's already defaulted in the system. Don't worry about any of this stuff. And don't worry about age requirement because that is not something that we are wanting to use right now. So maybe later down the road, this will be an option. There are two already set up in here, but the way it looks on the POS screen is kind of clunky and it kind of takes up a lot of time. So we kind of decided not to use it for now. Maybe later down the road we will. So then go back up, go to your next tab, back office. This is going to be for your buyer's club. If it's a product you don't want to allow accrual of points, then make sure you have that checked. Um, you know, I don't see why you would be adding a closeout item, but for instance, a closeout item. Let's say you don't want them to earn any points for those items. This would have to be checked. You can also do a multiplier. So let's say it's something you get like a higher markup off of, or whatever. Uh, Instead of giving them 1 point, you can give them 2 points, or you can have a promo where you're giving them 5 points, for every dollar spent. That's where you would set that. It's automatically going to default to 1, so you can leave that empty. The Buyers Club is still in the process of getting created, and once it's created, I believe there's going to be a default number already in here. So unless it's something you want to change and make different, just leave it the way it is defaulted. Let's see. Don't think you need to worry about these three right here, but the tag format you do want. They are still working on tags. We have the jewelry and we have the standard. We don't have the mini yet. If this is a product that needs to be tagged every time it comes in the back door, this is where you're going to want to set that. So every product has a tag design set to it, so we don't have to choose later down the road whenever it comes in the back door, we can just hit print tags. We select how many tags, and then it prints them the correct format. So little by little, as we're receiving merchandise, we're going to have to go through and set all of these. I haven't set them yet because we don't have all the tags created yet. So make sure that's set if it is a taggable item. None of this we really need. You don't really need stock number, non-returnable to vendor. Don't really need that. That's usually verbally or through email. We know what our products are all about and the vendors and all that. So don't worry about this. Leave that. Long description. Don't worry about that. We don't do commissions, so don't worry about any of that. We don't do rentals, so don't worry about any of that. Go to your next tab. Quantity breaks. We will use this, and I did put this in as a modification. Right now, we cannot set quantity price breaks from the creation of the item. We have to go back into the item to set that data. So I'll show you what that looks like. In the meantime, don't use this during the creation of a product. Parts is if you order this product from multiple vendors, you can set another vendor in here. Part would be their product. So ABC is what they call that product. And let's say you get it for 50 cents cheaper at this other vendor. And then you would select the vendor. You can also select it as preferred vendor. So if you were to search for vendor 925 company, it would come up, this product would come up as the preferred vendor. So hit save, and there you go. You can add as many of those in here as you want. So if you get, tobacco from 3 different places, you can have all 3 places listed here. I'm going to go ahead and edit this. Just get that out of there. Hit save, and now it takes it out. Rental we never use, and custom we never use. So don't worry about any of that. Once you have all this saved, if you did make any mistakes or empty fields, whenever you hit save, it would give you a warning saying you have to have this field filled out first before it can create it. So I filled everything out properly. It created it. You can go to, well, you're still in product. So here's your search filter. You can search for that product I just made. So let's just say I'm going to search by default as the brand. And then I know it had 1, 2, 3 in the description somewhere. So this is going to bring up every product from the default brand that has a description of 1, 2, 3 in it. It's probably just going to be that one. And there it is, test item 1, 2, 3. From here, you can edit the quantity price breaks. I guess it's just a glitch in their system, and this is something they're still working on, but this is what it's supposed to look like right here. So when you were creating the product, it didn't give you this option. So the retail, let's say you buy 10 of them. I want to sell them for $1.89 instead of, well, I don't remember what I have it, $2.99. Let's say I want to sell it for $2.89 instead of $2.99 if you buy 10 of them. That's how you would do that. Once you set that, you hit save, and there you go. Your product is created. It actually created 2 items. It created the blue and the red, but the product represents both of those. And I think that is about it. If you wanted to look at, you can hit save here to save these changes here, or at the top. If you wanted to look at both items individually, you would get out of products and you would go to the SKU store list. This will show you the individual items and each store that carries it and how many they carry. So let's find that product again. Default. And then 1, 2, 3. Hit search. And it also has all these other search criteria here. So if you had the barcode, you could just scan it right here. Hit search. And this is the one item, both colors. You can see blue and red for every single location. This is something they're changing to store 1, 2, 3. This is supposed to have the store names. Tanya is still working on that. It should be ready by go live, is what I'm told. 90 you'll never really have to look at. That's just the website store. Warehouse would pretty much represent the quantity of the warehouse. So the on-hand quantity here should be the same at 90 as it is at the warehouse. So if you're ordering, just order for warehouse. You can just disregard the 90 here. So this is how everything is listed in this system. You have an option to select different columns on here or take away different columns. You have all these options here. You got min and max that are not selected yet. Let's see, age requirement, all these SKU OFs. Model stock, that is something I need to show you as well. Model stock is like the max quantity in Retail Pro. So to set that, you would come in here to your SKU store list. Let's say I want to make all of these items for every location. They should have 5 at any given time, always. They should never go below 5 or they should never go above 5. I'm sorry. You would highlight or select all of these, go to Action, go to Bulk Change. There it is. Model stock quantity. So it's under your min and max. You never have to change the min and max again because it runs every night. But the model stock is something that we manually put in. So let's say I want to have 5 all the time at that store. Don't go above it. Try to stay as close to this number as possible. That is what your model stock means. So once you have that selected, hit next, hit save. And this is just confirming that you want to change the model stock for every single one of these items for every single store. Once you hit save, your model stock will be set in there. So if you want to see it, have it selected, and you can move this bar over. And once again, you can change all of this. It's saying 0 now because you have to refresh the page. So once you refresh it, go back into the item. And then go over to your model stock. They should be populated in there now. Well, I gotta have the column selected. Hold on. Model stock. There you go. Now they all have a 5 in there. So if you ran a report, which I'll show you reporting a little later, if you ran a report, you had model stock on there. Let's just say it's like a report that Cody's going to pull for the needs. He would know that this is your max number, just like in Retail Pro. You can also set it per store. If you wanted to filter right here, you would go back to your search criteria. You still have your previous search down here if you need to refer to it, but you can also search per store. So if you want to only make West have 2 or something because of space issues, you can do select store. I want Moorhead only. Hit search, and this will just bring up Moorhead, the blue and the red. They carry both of them, but you want to only make 2 as their model stock. So you would select all of these, Action, Bulk Change, Min Max, Stock Model, and I want to change it to 2. Hit Next. This is confirming it. Hit Save. Do a refresh, and then search for that item again, and it should be set. Default. 1, 2, 3, search. I didn't filter for the store, but you can see anyway. Model stock selected. Go down here, scroll all the way over, and there's your model stock for West at 2. And there's your other one, 2, right there. And that's how you do that. You would just filter per store, change your whatever you want to change. Just make sure you have the correct filtered criteria here so you pull up the correct stores and items. I think that's about it as far as searching for products, items, creating them. Yeah, that's about it.